It's your boy viciousfolife back with more Madden NFL 21 depth chart videos, giving you some tips and tricks to setting up your online depth chart for when you play Madden 21 online head-to-head regs ranked. Giving you tips from someone who I utilize these same tips and has led me to be a top 1% ranked in Madden online head-to-head regs. So typically we go with by division. In today's division we are doing the AFC South. Now, disclaimer before we get into all of these suggestions, I just want to let you know that while speed is an important aspect of Madden, it's not the end-all be-all. Whenever I do make these personnel decisions, I do keep speed in mind, but I don't make it solely based on that. With that being said, let's start with the Jacksonville Jaguars and home of the soon-to-be first-round pick, Trevor Lawrence. Now, you don't have Trevor Lawrence to be able to use online yet, so you have to go with the best one, which is Gardner Minshew II. He pretty much is your only option. Before they got rid of good old Nicky Foles, you could have had a debate, but for the most part, it's going to be Minshew season whenever he's here, or whenever you're using him. At halfback, James Robinson's going to be your best bet. Rookie year, had a great season at that 84. If you do like speed, you have Chris Thompson, and you also have Raquel Armstead, but I personally feel like James is going to be your guy. He has that speed. He has that power. He's not slow in any sense of the form, but I think he'll give you the best bang for your buck. Fullback, don't really have one. Wide receiver, DJ Clark Jr. is your burner. He's your number one. Chenault Jr., I'm just going to go with that. He's also not bad at 88. He's like a Swiss Army knife where he could play running back, wide receiver. After him, you kind of can do a little interchangeableness. I like having D.D. Westbrook on the field because he has that 93 speed. Keelan Cole Sr., he's also a little shifty along with Chris Conley. Both of them are just like, I don't say interchangeable, but it kind of feels like that. Like after DJ, you really can put any of the Jags wide receivers and just like let them do whatever. But I am a little bit myself partial to Chenault and D.D. Westbrook whenever I play. Sometimes I'll put Keelan in if I want to do like a red zone target. Chris Conley, he's also tall too. I just feel like he doesn't really do much when I play with him, but honestly, at your point and your preference on how you want to deploy these guys. At tight end, you have Tyler Eifert, Josh Oliver. He's got more speed, a little more receiving on him, so you can kind of mix and match, but Tyler's going to be your guy for the most part. Your left tackle is going to be Cam Robinson. Left guard, Andrew Norwell. Center, Brian Linder. Right guard is going to be AJ Cann. Right tackle, Jawan Taylor. Decent O-line, not bad. Gives you some good protection. Now it's just trying to hopefully hope that your people get open so you can throw to him. At left end, you have Adam Gossis. He's part of the whole thing of you let the slower end start just because in your first two downs or base plays, the base packages, it's more about having those run blockers there than actual pass rusher ones. So that's why I keep him at left end. Right end, you put Dewan Smoot there. Once again, a little bit of speed to him, tall, can get off the blocks. Really great for stopping those run downage. At defensive tackle, you can kind of really pick. They have Al Woods here because he got hurt, so you can kind of throw him into the mix, but it really is based on what you're trying to do. None of these options are the most ideal. I usually might go big boy lineup, so it will be like Al Woods and Devon, 330 people, big dudes, hard to get past them. Your left outside linebacker, you have Leon Jacobs and Quincy Williams. Really depends on how you feel about it. Quincy has the higher awareness though, so that makes me want to just go with him, but either one really will do the job fine. Your middle linebacker, you have Joe Schobert at 77. He's not the fastest, but he's got the high awareness. He has pretty good tackling too, so it's good to keep him on the field. Right outside linebacker, Miles Jack, speed, the awareness. I mean, really, there's not much you could think about. For people who are Last Chance U fans, Dakota Allen is on the Jaguars. If you remember him from that season, so something to definitely think about. But yeah, for the most part, it's Miles Jack's position. At corner, you have some options here. I think the best option is going to be C.J. Henderson, the first round pick, and Sidney Jones, the The reason why is you have two tall, rangy corners who are covering the field. If you are going to do a slot, I would recommend Trey over DJ. DJ is not a bad slot at all, but I feel like Trey edges him out for when it matters, especially with that higher awareness at 80. Your free safety is going to be Gerard Wilson at 90. Honestly, these two are just like whatever options. At strong safety, they have Daniel Thomas, the rookie. You'll see that Josh Jones is here as well. He's higher up and he's faster. You can kind of pick what you want to do here. I think Josh Jones in the doghouse because he got ejected some games. So I would probably keep Josh Jones there because he's taller. Now, if you did want to, you could take him and take Daniel Thomas and put him in for the linebacker in case you need that coverage help. But we'll talk about that when we get to that section. Third down halfback, Chris Thompson. Been a third down halfback for a while in the league, has that experience. If you did want to do something sneaky and try and get Shenault as your third down, you can definitely move him up here. It's up to you. He doesn't have the best blocking, but at 6'1", he's a little bit of a mismatch coming out that backfield. Just want to see the blocking on him. I know it's not that great. Yeah, so would recommend having them blocked for you. But to be fair though, compared to what else is out there, there's not really a marquee blocker, so it might work to your advantage to have him out there. Your power back is going to be James. Goes through him like we said earlier. Slot receiver is Keelan Cole Sr. He kind of really moved up. You can really pick who you want on these. You have him, you have Shenault, you have D.D. Westbrook. I'm partial to Westbrook a little bit as well myself, but it really is kind of what you feel like is the best bet. Now, because Keenan has that awareness, I'm going to probably let him sit there, but you can mix and match and choose what you want. At rushing end, you have Josh Allen, your best pass rushing solution. He's an 81 overall, 86 speed. He's not going to get off all the time, but when he gets off, he's going to make something happen. Aaron Lynch is also available at 70. He's not the best, but once again, that 81 speed gives you something to use to try and get to the pass or the quarterback. At your right end, you have Kevon Clausen, their first round pick that they got. Him and Smoot. I still keep it this way. As you can see, the pass rush isn't ideal with this team, so you're going to be trying to generate plays to compensate for it, but for the most part, that's what you'll be doing. At DT, it doesn't really matter who you put here, but if you're going to keep it like these guys, you're more than welcome to. You can always mix and match and put Lynch or Smoot or so on so they can come through the DT position on those pass rush and third downs, but for the most part, this is what you're going to have. For your coverage linebacker, Miles Jack, Schobert is straight. He has that 80 free speed, but this is where I was saying too, you would take either a Josh Jones or a Daniel Thomas and put them over Schobert just because you want to have that little bit more speed and spice on the field. Just something to think about. And then your slot, you have DJ Hayden. I always put in Herndon, like I said earlier, just because he has a better awareness. And I believe, let me just double check here, because we might be wrong, but I want to say coverage-wise, he edges out DJ Hayden by a little bit. You know, the difference in press isn't too much to where I feel uncomfortable with it. And that's your Jacksonville Jaguars. Now let's move on to our next AFC South team. And that's going to be the Houston Texans. Not going to spend too much time on this because of what's going on, but we already know who the quarterback is for this team whenever you're using them. No debate. It's always going to pretty much go with him. Halfback, we have David Johnson. Duke Johnson's also on the team. I use David myself and kind of just put him through the ropes and have him go for everything. But if you did want to spell, Duke is definitely a good halfback to have spelling you. Fullback, Cullen. Wide receiver, you have Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller the fifth. Honestly, you can pick which one you want to do what here. They both are pretty similar in speed. When it comes to your slot, Randall Cobb is who's recommended, but I do like Kiki here just because he's a little bit younger. I feel like he has a little bit more oomph in his step, so really you kind of mix and match which one you want to do. Tight end, you have Darren Fells. Jordan Atkins is going to be your receiver tight end, so if you want to like throw the ball and have like somewhere athletic get it, I would put Jordan in. But Fells is also really good too. He's sneakily good, so you know, keep your eye on both. Left tackle Tunsil. Your left guard in this case is going to be, oh, I see not starting. Yeah, there's your left guard right there. Your center is Nick Martin. Your right guard is Fulton. And your right tackle is Titus Howard. You'll notice the Houston Texans O-line is not that great, but it is what it is. Your left end is JJ Watt. He's going to be your guy that you're going through the most, getting you the most of those pass rushes. He's not the fastest dude, but he has that, you know, relentless and high overall behind him to really get after the quarterback. Your right end, Carlos Watkins. Up to you how you want to kind of deviate that. I let Carlos stay there just because in the free four is really having that bulk and weight, so you don't need like a fast guy. Defensive tackle, Brandon Dunn. Kind of leave it is for what it is. Your left side linebacker, you have Mr. Scarlett. He's okay at 80. You might want to try and experiment having him and Jacob come in, but it's up to you. Your middle linebacker is going to be Bernard McKinney and Zach Cunningham. These are two people that it all funnels through. Decent speed at that linebacker position because they're the free four. They'll both be on the field, so you don't have to worry too much about them. Your right outside linebacker is Whitley Merciless and Duke. I like Whitley just because of the legacy, but he is getting old. This is where you could also sub in Jacob or Duke, but for the most part, you can also let Whitley eat as well. Cornerback, Bradley Roby is going to be your stud. He's your guy. Garyon Conley as number 2 is not bad, and then Vernon Hargraves as your slot is also okay. These two here, I mean, it's kind of however you feel about them, but they won't be coming on your team for the most part. I know you'll see the 95 speed here and you'll think about putting this dude to play, you know, at a higher position, but that 64 awareness is just like why I can't do it myself. So just keep that in mind. Free safety, you have Justin Reed. He's a solid player, especially on that defense. Strong safety, you have Lonnie Johnson Jr. They converted him. He has the speed, he has some hit power too, so that's kind of what gives him the extra bump. Third down halfback, you have Duke Johnson. Really, however you feel about it, Duke's more a little bit more faster with the agility. David's a little more reliable, has a little more reliability. Me personally, it all comes down to who has the better blocking. And it looks like Duke edges him out, so Duke is who will stay. Power, David. Slot receiver, this is what I was telling you earlier. Randall's the more established one, but Kiki's not bad too, especially with the speed he has. So however you prefer, I like to mix and match and figure out what down I want who on. Your end's going to be JJ, and you have Whitley Mercer, the other one. DT, you have Charles and Carlos. Now, what you can also do is put JJ in at the DT as well to get a little extra oomph off the block if you don't want them going against the ends. So something to think about, just moving people around because they have enough people to cover him if you do that. Your sub linebackers, you have McKinney and Zach Cunningham at 80 free speed. They're both decent. You're always welcome to put in someone like a Michael Thomas or Eric Murray with higher speed to kind of supplant one of them, but it's up to you. That's usually something I'd recommend doing just so that you actually have a little bit more speed out there. So just keep that in mind. And as I said, Vernon Hargraves is playing your nickel cornerback with Eric Murray and John Reed as these other ones. It doesn't really matter what you do in this section. I just keep it this way, call it even. And that's your Houston Texans. Now you move on to the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill is your guy. No debate there. If you even care about this, you want to put Deshaun over Woodside, but you're not going to see him because there's no injuries online in Madden anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Derrick Henry's who it goes through. The rest of these dudes, I mean, they're all okay, but for the most part, you're using Derrick Henry. That's who you're going to be using. Fullback is Kyrie. AJ Brown as your number 1 receiver with Corey Davis number 2 is for the most part the setup you're going to be in. Humphries is a good slot. He catches the ball well. He's not fast, but you can tell that he'll make those tough catches for you. Khalif Raymond is your burner on the team. He's only 5'8", but if you want to get that sneaky speed element, he's definitely your guy. Tight end, Jonnu Smith at 88 speed is a mismatch. Has that speed element going for him. Fisker and Pruitt are also decent, but for the most part, Jonnu's who's going to flow through. Your left tackle is Taylor Lewan. Left guard is Roger Starfield. Center is Ben Jones. Right guard is Nate Davis. Right tackle Dennis Kelly. Their O-line's not bad at all. It's for the most part serviceable, so you will have that time as Ryan Tannehill to get some throws off. Your left end is Jeremy Simmons. Right end is Jack Crawford. Daquan Jones is going to be your DT. Clowney is going to be your left outside linebacker. He has the 86 speed. He doesn't really do much for me, but I feel like he's still at this stage just a decent piece of the puzzle. Your middle linebacker is going to be Rashad Evans, with Jaylen Brown coming as the number 2. Your right outside linebacker is going to be Harold Landry the third. Cornerback is going to be Adoree Jackson. You can kind of mix and match here what you want to do here, but what I usually do is they have Desmond King kind of be as the slot. I usually put Desmond as like my number 2, but it's really up to you. I know people are high on Filton, but I don't feel like he did much. Kevin Bird is your free safety. Your strong safety is Kenny Vaccaro. Third down was again Derrick Henry. Power, Derrick Henry. Slot, you have your Adam Humphries. You could put Khalif in there as well if you do want to get sneaky with the speed. It's up to you. Your rushing left end, Javon Clowney. He has the high overall. He won't give you much sacks, but he might be able to get you like little pressures and stuff here and there. Harold Landry is more the person you're going to look for the sacks. He also doesn't get them all the time, but he has a good shot of doing something if you put him out there long enough. You'll keep Simmons at your end tackle spot. Not fast, but a big body that can break off. Rashad Evans and Jaron Brown. Jaron Brown's a bit faster, so I like to have him out there. What I'll do with Evans, I usually put someone like Amani Hooker in there. He's got a little bit more speed, covers the field well, kind of keep him there. Your slot receiver is going to be Desmond King II. He'll be the person that's powering through, so you'll just want to keep that in mind. And yeah, that for the most part is your Tennessee Titans. And now we get to move on to our next team. And that brings us to our last team, the Indianapolis Colts, led by Phillip Rivers. He's going to be your best bet here. While Old Man Rivers is not fast, he has the quick release, and he's going to be your most accurate one. If you did want to go and put Jacoby Brissett in for like any options or run plays, with the quarterbacks you can, but at 80 speed, he's not necessarily the best you can do. But on this team, he will be, I guess. Your running backs, you have Marlon Mack, Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. Honestly, when I started the whole season, I was a big Marlon Mack fan, but I think Jonathan Taylor like absolutely killed it this year, so he's going to be my starter. Marlon is a really good number 2. I feel like he doesn't do much to like pop out and have plays happen, but you can't go wrong with having him on the squad. Fullback, Jack Doyle. Wide receiver, you have T.Y. Hilton. What I like to do is I like to put Michael Pittman as number 2, just because of that height. So you have a good mix with him and Hilton. At number 3, I like Paris Campbell. Zach Pascal is not bad at all, but I just like the speed that you get with him. And I feel like he doesn't do anything to really say that, oh, he needs to be on the field. Tight end, you have Jack Doyle, Trey Burton, Mo Alley. If you are doing a receiving play, you want to have Trey out there. But for everything else, Jack Doyle is your guy. And then Mo Alley, while not as high overall as the other two, he's also sneaky good too with his catching ability as well. Left tackle, you have Anthony. Left guard, Quentin. center Ryan Kelly, right guard Mark, right tackle Braden Smith. I mean, if you have someone like Phillip Rivers who's not really mobile, you have to have a good O-line to protect them, and the Colts have that. They have one of the best O-lines in the game, and as you see with those ratings, it helps you have that time to get those throws off. Your left end, Nico Entree to start with. Right end, Justin Houston, just to start off with as well. For the tackle, you have DeForest Buckner, who's a monster. You want to get this guy out there and on your people because he will get out of that. He'll get out and actually attack the quarterback. Your left side linebacker, you have Darius Leonard. Your middle linebacker, you have Anthony Walker Jr. By the way, I know I said his name like it was nothing, but Darius Leonard is an actual stud at 89. So one of the best linebackers in the game, and he's on the Colts. Your right outside linebacker, you have Bobby Okere. He's pretty good. EJ Speeds to back up. At cornerback, you have to do a little mix and matching here. So what I typically like to do is I like to have Rock Ya-Sin as my number 1 with Rhodes backing him up. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, like, well, Kenny Moore's rated higher. He is, but Kenny Moore is short. So I like to keep him as the slot corner just because I want to have Rock and Xavier on the taller ones. At free safety, I have Malik Hooker. But what I'll do is I like Julian Blackmon a lot, and he's emerged. So what I'll do is I'll put Julian as the starter, and then I go to my strong safety, and I'll put Malik Hooker as my strong safety, just because he has a little bit more oomph than Kyrie does. Third down, I keep Nyheim Hines there. He's the fastest option of them all. I think at the 5'9" position too, it gives him a lot of play. Plus his run, I believe his blocking is pretty decent, but let's double check. Let's double check here. Yeah, pass blocking 58, so, you know, they keep him out there for a reason. Power halfback, Jonathan Taylor. Your slot, I usually put Camp Bell in there, but like I said, you can also sub in Pascal at 6'2". He's got some height. He's not bad for a slot. I just like to speed that Paris brings. When it comes to your rushing left end, I usually try and put Ben in there just because he has a little more speed. While Antry has the 74 high overall, he doesn't really get off the block that well. Keep my right end at Justin Houston, one of the legends. He came over from the Chiefs. You can also play with putting Kameko in there as well. So you have different options with them, and you know their pass rush is really predicated on how well DeForest Buckner gets off. So alternating pieces will definitely aid you with this team. Of course, you have DeForest Buckner. He's going to be your main piece. Quell Lewis is bad as well, but you can experiment putting other ends and the people in there as well to get them to do something. For your sub linebackers, you keep Darius Leonard on the field. I like to keep Bobby in there because he does have the 88 speed, but you could put in Kyrie Willis as well if you want just a little bit more movement. But I think keeping Bobby there at 88 is a good move. Your slot corner is going to be Kenny Moore. You keep him there, as I was saying earlier. As for these, do Isaiah Rodgers or TJ Carey, I would probably just go TJ because of the higher awareness. And that's going to be your Indianapolis Colts. They're a fun team to play with. That's going to be your AFC South. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave in your comments below what you guys think of the series, the video, what team you want to see me do my depth chart recommendations next. And as always, hope you guys enjoy the content. Until next time, peace.